Happening APLers here with a week 3 APL preview. First, I'll run through last week quick, and then we'll preview into this week. So, I just saw the Megan Trainor and Mahomes commercial on State Farm. I watch football with my dad every Sunday, pretty much. Um, he doesn't care for that commercial at all. He said that Megan Trainor should be ashamed of herself for taking everybody's money for that stupid bass song. And he doesn't understand why they would have her in this commercial at all. And he also would like, well, we have our insurance through State Farm because my aunt works for State Farm. Then he would like State Farm to stop paying all these celebrities money and just reduce his rates. He told me that in week 1 and week 2. But this commercial just really grinds his gears. And it's pretty exciting. So, anyway, not sure anybody cares, but we'll get started. All right, so last week, here are the winners. AI had some fun with this one. Not sure why Solomon is wearing Tank's hat, but he is. Tank has a different hat, so it's fun. The different substances in each class are interesting too. But anyway, those are the winners. So run through these quick. Me versus Greg. I think I looked back earlier. I won't look now, but I think I texted Greg at 2:18 on Sunday afternoon. Congratulated him on the win. Our scores were like roughly tied somewhere in like the 600s or something. Most of my guys were done except for Tyler Warren. I had like the fourth quarter left for some of my guys, and then Greg had a bunch of stuff left. So he had Jacoby Myers and kicker and defense, and I think some had all of Devontae Adams left too. I don't remember exactly, but a lot left. He seemed to be. He said, "Yeah, some stuff is working this week," so he seemed to be comfortable as well. And then shit got wild. So I apologize, Greg. I didn't mean to curse things for you. Really thought things looked good there. So I get a monster field goals from Brandon Aubrey. Lucky that game goes to overtime. Pickens does some stuff. Lamar throws some meaningless touchdowns, and Tyler Warren catches like a 41-yard pass to start things off. In his 3 o'clock game, and then on Greg's side, which all his guys didn't do a lot. We got Jefferson, he got 84 yards on Sunday night. Jacoby Myers, or 81 yards on Sunday night, 50 of it on one play. Kicker missed a field goal, ended up with 0. Jacoby Myers was okay with 74 points. Defense, not great. So all Greg's guys that could come through and get the win didn't. So still puts up 11-29. Fifth highest score of the week. Gets a loss. So it's a rough spot for Greg. Solomon and Ryan was really the matchup of the week here. So Ryan puts up 12-27, comes up with the loss. Lots of good performance there. Bijan was just crushed us. Jamar Chase caught 13 passes. Here, let's click on this. Got 14 passes, 14 for 165 and a touchdown, even without Mr. Burrow. JSN still good. The big tight end pickup does well. Everybody pretty much comes through except for Brian Thomas, who seems to have forgotten how to play football this year. But 12-27 is a great score that wins most weeks. But Solomon gets big game from Jordan Love. We talked about that already. Bucky, great. Jonathan Taylor, even better. JMO does his thing, catches 2 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown. Trey McBride does his thing, 162 points there. Boswell, excuse me, knocks in a bunch of field goals. And Solomon puts up the high score for the week, 1393, and takes Ryan down. So I moved Solomon to 1-1. It was Ryan to 1-1. Tank versus Jake. Not much to say here. I mean, Tank puts up 1103. It's a huge game from Malik Neighbors. Just catching moon balls from Russ, like a lot of them. Puka, great. 164 points from Puka there. That is just fun. And then the rest of it's fine. Nothing that stands out. Jake just had an off week. Josh Allen, the Bills crushed the Jets. He didn't need to do anything. So they stopped basically trying pretty early in the game. James Cook still went nuts, 176 points, and then the rest of the guys just really didn't show up. Derrick Henry had 23 yards. AJ Brown, 32 points again. DK didn't do too much against his old team. Got a touchdown, but that's about it. So just an off week. Tank moves to 2-0, and Jake goes to 1-1. Another big battle here. Ross puts up 829 points. That's 300 less than Greg, who lost, and Ross gets the win, mostly because Joe Burrow gets hurt, which sucks for everybody. So not good to see. Huge bummer for Burrow and for football in general. It's just more fun when the fun guys are playing. So if we get another couple hundred points from Burrow, Daggy easily gets a win. Otherwise, there's not too much to talk about here. Juwan Johnson was good again. And other than that, not a lot of excitement. CD was good. And then we move into the last matchups today versus Corey. We talked about Tucker Kraft being on the bench. Obviously, throw another couple hundred points on Corey's total, and he wins this matchup with Kraft in the lineup. But Saquon and Chuba did their thing. Amonra was just huge, 191 points. Pitts got 78. Today gets a monster game from Dak. I think this was the plan when he drafted Dak, assuming that their defense would be terrible. And they'd be in a lot of games like what happened last Sunday. So 446 from Dak. Achane is the whole offense for Miami for 150. Everybody else is fine. Got 106 from Tedero McMillan. Bowers only with 81, but throw all that stuff together with the 446 and the 150 from Achane, and so they gets to 1141 there pretty easily. So look at standings here. I'm sure everybody's looked at this, but Tank is the lone team at 2-0 over in the Ross division. Jake, Ross, Solomon, all 1-1. The standings are ordered by division record right now. I didn't move them around. If it was really tied, it would come down to points. They're not division record if it's a three-way tie. Over on the other side, me and today are 2-0. Brian's 1-1, and then Greg and Corey 0-2. So, all right, we'll move into a little week 3 stuff. So first matchup here is Corey versus Jake. Corey, we just talked about 0-2. Jake 1-1. Corey's side of the ball. I'm just going to try to talk about how do we get to the best case scenario here to get Corey to be able to overcome the big games on Thursday night from pretty much all of the guys that Jake had starting. So Kyler Murray against the 49ers. It needs to turn into a shootout. I think I don't have a lot of confidence in Kyler Murray to do a 400-point game or something like that. I just don't think they throw the ball enough or want to throw the ball enough to do that, but need Mac Jones to be good on the San Francisco side in order to score a lot of points to push Kyler to exceed this 300. But 300 from Kyler is the number. Saquon against the Rams, $123. It's a projection that is a pretty solid number. Just need Saquon to do what he did last year. Saquon's been fine. So far, he has 108 and 116. He's averaging 20 carries a game. Hasn't rushed for 100 yards yet. He's good. We just need him to be great. Chuba, I think he's been solid too. He's got 112, 102 points in the first 2 games. He did that last week on 10 carries. He caught 5 balls for 39 yards too, which helps. But Chuba against the Falcons is a little scary. Falcons defense looked strong on Sunday night against the Vikings. So a little concern there, but it's been solid. Wide receivers, we need Amonra to do what he did last week. The game against the Ravens looks potentially fun. Should be a lot of points scored there. So feel good about Amonra. Olave is getting a lot of targets. I think I saw a stat this week that he's second in the league in targets or something. He has 28 targets or something, and 10 or 12 of them are uncatchable. So it's not helpful when Spencer Rattler is your quarterback and he can't get you the ball close. But Seahawks defense sounds scary. Also heard that the Seahawks are missing like 3 of their top corners this week, so maybe that's an opportunity for Olave to have a little boom case. He's had 61 and 60 points so far this year. Sorry, 23 targets. This is the total for the year here. So it's like 10 or 12 uncatchable balls on 23 targets, so almost half. Drake London, it's also good, not great for Corey. Falcons didn't need to pass the ball last week, so 4 targets last week is kind of a downer. 15 the week before is real good. So just need London to do more, do less. That need a bunch of field goals from Will Lutz. Defense looks strong on that side. So I think Corey can get there. On the Jake side, Derrick Henry against the Lions sounds fun. 119-point projection. AJ Brown against the Rams is interesting. AJ Brown hasn't done anything really yet this season. The Eagles haven't really tried to throw the ball much at all. So need more than 5 catches for 27 yards or 1 for 8. Evans against the Jets, sure. I think that's just a fine matchup. Maybe he draws Sauce Gardner. I don't really know if he's that good, but fine. And then DK against the Patriots is probably fine too. Christian Gonzalez doesn't sound like he's ready to go this week. The Patriots have been giving up a lot of points, so maybe that's an opportunity for Metcalf to go crazy here. So add up the points. I think it's just going to be a tough road for Corey to come back from the 320 from Josh Allen is good. Probably hoping for more from Josh Allen, but 320 in that game is good. James Cook 141, Kincaid 157, and then Tyrell Dodson 72. I think Jake's probably pretty happy walking into today with that start. So this looks like you got Jake by about 146 points here. So Corey's got to hope for some things to go wild. Like I said, with the Kyler Murray needs Tucker Kraft to play. He's supposed to play and do what he did last week. Those are the things that can make a difference, but I think Jake's a heavy favorite here. All right, next matchup, maybe. Sadeh versus Daggy. So the negative for Daggy is obviously Burrow, your first round pick, out for 3 months. Maybe seems like the season, maybe he comes back in December if the Bengals are still in the hunt. The great news is late round pick Justin Herbert. It's fun. They're throwing the ball like a lot. So slide in Herbert for Burrow. I'm not sure if it's that much of a step down. That's what it seems like. So day 2-0, Daggy 0-2. Can Daggy take down Sadeh? All right. So we got Dak at 320. Dak is in probably the second most fun game of the week. I think that Detroit and Baltimore game is the most fun. Chicago and Dallas could be the second most fun. Neither of those teams have been able to play defense through 2 weeks. So it seems like a fantasy football bonanza there between those two. So 320 might be on the low side for Dak. That's what it is. Achane got 98 on Thursday night. He got taken off the field in the red zone for Ollie Gordon, who got a touchdown on the first drive. And otherwise, it was pretty much the focal point of the passing game. He caught a ton of passes. Tyreek was more productive when the yardage-wise, but Achane's just so involved. All right, Chase Brown gets the Vikings. We got run all over last week by Atlanta. So maybe that's the plan for Cincy this week with Browning behind center, that they're going to hand off to Chase Brown a lot and try to get Chase Brown going. Hasn't really gotten going yet this year. I think he's similar he's been good, not great. 73 the first week, 67 the second week. So hoping for more there from Chase Brown. Maybe this is the week against our rough defense. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen has been good. They Chargers didn't need to pass too much this past week, or the game I think got a little out of hand against the Raiders. Still ended up with 86 points and a touchdown and 7 targets, and then he had 95 in week 1. So the 75, a little lower than what he's got in the first couple weeks. Broncos defense didn't seem scary last week against Daniel Jones and the Colts, so maybe we can score some points there. Emeka Egbuka was banged up this week. He is going to play draws the Jets. We talked about Mike Evans. Not sure who's going to get Sauce Gardner, but Emeka's had touchdown in each week. 120 the first week, 53 the second week, so 71 for that. Titaroa against the Falcons. Assume that the Falcons are going to be ahead. Panthers are going to need to pass. It's probably going to be the scenario all season. I think 86 is a little low. And then Bowers gets the Commanders at noon. 150 is the projection there. It's pretty strong for Mr. Bowers. Be interesting to see Geno against Mariota there to see if the offense for the Commanders is much different with Mariota in there and how that affects game flow. See if Raiders need to pass or run more based on how much scoring there is. On the Diggy side of the ball, you get Herbert for 334 against the Broncos. It's like a strong number. I guess that the Broncos didn't seem too scary last week against Daniel Jones, so I got to feel good about Herbert there. Connor gets the 49ers. Seems fine. I think he's still giving them a fair amount of work to Trey Benson. And just limit his ceiling a little bit. Kyrie against the Eagles is a rough matchup. The Eagles defense is good as long as Jalen Carter doesn't spit on people. So I feel a little concerned about the upside on that. CD against the Bears, 106. That's, I feel, low. And it's just how much CD eats into Dak's numbers here is, I think, a key part of this matchup. If Dak goes to other people, obviously gives today a big advantage, but Diggy's got to hope for a bunch to go to Lamb, touchdowns to go to Lamb, big plays to go to Lamb. McConkey needs to get back into the number 1 spot here for the Chargers. Chargers offense has been great. It's been Quentin Johnston. It's been Keenan Allen, and McConkey's there, just not where he was last year. So I think he'll get there eventually. Maybe this is the week that things turn around and that Herbert to McConkey stack can get working. Steph Diggs gets the bench this week. Michael Pittman jumps in. Pittman goes against the Titans. I think Pittman has been fine. 106 the first week, 44 the second week. Just probably better than Diggs. Oh, sorry, Diggs was down last week. Khalil Shakir could have been in the lineup for 69 points on Thursday night. So see if Pittman can top that. Ertz jumps into the starting lineup over Njoku, who goes to the bench. Ertz has been real good so far. I heard that Ertz was a favorite target of Mariota, so maybe he can keep that thing going. So add in the kicker and the defense here. You have Sade with a 32-point margin here. I think this one, I really think just depends on the quarterbacks. Does Dak go crazy? How much goes to CD? And then is the Chargers Broncos game fun, or is it a lot of defense? And I think that kind of swings it. All right, next matchup is me versus Ross. So that's allegedly, I didn't verify, but that's Jake Browning's girlfriend. She's not ugly, not at all. And that's Mr. Aubrey, obviously, on my side. So Ross 1-1, 2-0. So we'll look at the lineups here. Ross has Jake Browning going at quarterback. He loses Jaden Daniels this week. He also lost JJ McCarthy. So he picks up Jake Browning and Tua, and Browning's the guy. Browning played 2 years ago when Burrow got hurt. He was fine. He had some decent games in there. So they're essentially going to run the same offense. It's a little scary because he's not great. So he throws a lot of interceptions like he did this last week, he threw three interceptions, and so I think this number could be good. I'm looking at Browning's numbers from back in the day. He had 441, 350, 383, 355, 288, 242. So definitely can just step right in for Burrow there. Gets the Vikings defense, which sounds scarier than it might have been so far, but it feels like we're more susceptible to the run than the pass. So we can hold them in check, but not too much confidence. Running back, I've been told that this is big breakout week here for Ashton Genty against the Commanders. So I'll be waiting to see that. Jordan Mason gets all the carries now that Aaron Jones is on his annual hiatus from playing, and it should go well. The Bengals don't defend really anything well, but don't defend the run well. So could be a big game for Jordan Mason if our porous and injured offensive line can block for him, and we can stay on the field at all. Wide receivers led by Nico. Nico had a few opportunities to score more touchdowns on Monday night that just didn't happen. It just feels like it's a big game waiting to happen at some point for Nico. The Jags defense is not scary. If the Texans could ever allow a shootout, the Jags could be the team that could do that to them. Just doesn't feel like the Texans offense is going to compete in a shootout ever, but good spot for Nico. Marquise Brown against the Giants. It's fine. I think it just depends on like what that Chiefs offense does. He's maybe the only receiver to catch the ball, so there's a chance he can go crazy. Marvin Harrison against the 49ers is fine. 76-point projection. It's fine. He can go nuts. He does like once or twice a year. Maybe this is the week. Juwan Johnson against the Seahawks. He's been really good this year. Seahawks defense, like I mentioned, they're missing a bunch of players. So no reason to believe he's not solid this week. Switch over to my side. Lamar gets the Lions on Monday night. 358 is the highest quarterback projection for the week. Hopefully it's a fun game. We can score a lot of points. ETN against the Texans. I think that's a rough matchup. Texans D line is good. They've, I think, done a good job playing defense against the run so far this year. I know the Browns defense has defended the run really well. They shut down Derrick Henry last week and shut down Chase Brown for the most part in week one. So 110, I think I'd be pretty happy if Jacobs got 110 against the Browns. Wide receivers, we'll hope for more fun with Zay Flowers on Monday night with that stack with Lamar. Zay's been good so far this year. Lions defense doesn't scare me too much. Pickens against the Bears. Their defense is also not scary. Hoping for fun there. And then Debo against the Raiders. A little concerned about Debo with Mariota back there that they're just not going to pass the ball that much. But you know, don't feel great. Tyler Warren popped up on the injury report this week. Sounds like he's going to play. Hopefully he doesn't die and makes it through the games. He's been fun so far this year. So add up the numbers and has me winning. If I can get it to work here, but 1,008 or 1,108 to 1,026. So pretty decent margin, and just think all that can change with Jake Browning having a big game, Mason and Genty going off, and Juwan Johnson going off. And I think the running back matchups are tough for my team. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Ross's shitbag team gets a win this week. Moves to 2-1. All right. So next matchup is Greg and Solomon. If for those of you that watched quarterback this year, that's Mr. Goff's wife. She's not ugly. Greg 0-2, Solomon 1-1. Goff side, Goff gets the Ravens. 314 seems low to me. That offense looked fun last week, so I think that's a big spot for Goff. Kamara against the Seahawks. Seahawks defense has been good. he got more dump off passes last week, so maybe that continues. 97, it's like a good number. It could be more. Ken Walker, full go. No Charbonnet this week against the Saints. Sounds like 110 is the floor to me. Big fan of Mr. Walker this week. He's in like all of the DraftKings lineups. Devontae Adams against the Eagles. Eagles defense sounds scary. Devontae Adams was force fed the ball last week. Still good. Still focal point there. Feel good. Jefferson against the Bengals. Matchup sounds good. The quarterback scenario does not sound good, but maybe Wentz can come in and look more competent than McCarthy. It wouldn't take a lot to look more competent than McCarthy, but maybe he can just force feed the ball to Jefferson and let Jefferson make some things happen. Jacoby Myers, he's steady. He's gonna catch like 7-ish balls for 80 to 90 yards, maybe get a touchdown. I don't think there's a huge ceiling there, but the floor is really high. Laporta against the Ravens. Talked about in a few of these matchups. Just take as many players as you can get in that game. It seems like it should be fun. So, Greg did upgrade kicker this week after his guy missed a field goal last week. He gets kicked out. Add in Spencer Schrader, who's been shredding for the Colts so far this year. So I think Greg's matchups look pretty good. He's got some upside on Goff and Walker there. So flip over to the Solomon side. I think that you get Jordan Love against the Browns. You want to pass against the Browns for sure, not run. But will they even need to? Because the Browns are so bad. Can they be up by like 3 touchdowns in the second quarter and then they just take their foot off the gas and don't need to pass? It's kind of been the deal so far. So I'm not sure there's a huge upside for Love, but it's been good so far. Buck Irving against the Jets, 110 is the projection there. He's fun. He's been good. Don't have any concerns there. Jonathan Taylor against the Titans. That guy's been a monster so far this year. On the field all the time, catching balls, running, everything. 130 seems low. It's been a lot of the offense. Wide receivers, interesting. Here we get Rome Odunze maybe ascending into like a weekly top 10, top 15 option here. It's the Cowboys who can't defend the pass at all. Really like that matchup. JMO did his thing last week. Got the long touchdown. Always a threat. He's in the fun game. Looks good. Matthew Golden enters the starting lineup for Solomon. I love these shots from Solomon. He's not afraid to throw guys in there that might go, oof, I wouldn't do that. So you get Golden against the Browns. You get the stack with Jordan Love. Just sounds fun. But we are leaving T. Higgins on the bench for Matthew Golden. So someone's a little concerned about the Jake Browning quarterback scenario and maybe the Vikings pass defense as well. So be interesting to look at this one and see if Golden over Higgins matters on Monday night or Tuesday. McBride against the 49ers is just like an automatic 100 plus points, maybe 150. So add these up and we have razor thin margins here. We have Greg winning 1103 to 1102. So what really, really swings this? It's going to be fun on Monday night to watch Goff and Laporta battle against JMO. We'll see what the gap is. So really think it comes down to how fun those games are. If the Lions and Ravens are a track meet and the Browns and Packers is a slog, it's got to go favor to Greg on that. If it flips, we'll see. Fun matchup. Super close. All right. Now we have Ryan versus Tank. So 1-1 Ryan, 2-0 Tank. Another fun matchup here. So Ryan gets Mahomes on Sunday night against the Giants, who just gave up a huge game to Dak. But Dak actually has like cool people to throw to. Mahomes has nobody to throw to. But he's been making it happen by himself, running a lot, making his crew of shitty receivers look fun. Sorry, they're not looking fun. He's accumulating points with his crew of shitty receivers. We need Xavier Worthy back. We need Rashee Rice back, and then things will be scary. So I think it's fine. 337 seems fine. McCarthy, McCaffrey, yeah, automatically fun every week. 127 points seems like a given each week. Bijan against the Panthers, sure. Worst rush defense in the league against that monster, 138. That's a big number to project. It seems accurate, if not a little low. So really good spots there. Jamar Chase against the Vikings. He's obviously the number one target for Jake Browning last week with his 14 catches. So feel good about that. JSN popped up on the injury report today with illness. Not sure if he has some tummy trouble or a runny nose or what, but might be one to watch. It's a surprise coming out of the lineup there. That's a big deal for Ryan. JSN has been awesome. He's a fifth round pick that now is easily top 5 each week in projections and rankings. He's just the whole passing offense for Seattle. It's been great. Ryan Thomas, still in lineup for Ryan. He's just been disappointed. See lots of highlights on Twitter where he just isn't engaged. Allegedly had a wrist injury this past week. No, still really good. Just think it'll happen sooner or later. Just not as scary as he seemed like. If you like week 1, if you're like, "Ooh, playing Brian Thomas, that's not great." Now you're like, "No, I wonder what'll happen there." Fannin gets a start again at tight end. Evan Ingram seems to be hurt again, and just see lots of good stuff about Fannin and all the stuff he's doing in the offense. Scared of the Packers defense that they can just totally shut down the Browns. So maybe not a huge upside there, but serviceable. On the tank side, to get Caleb Williams in the Cowboys game, 330 is a projection, maybe more. Jahmyr Gibbs in the Ravens game, fun. Javonte Williams in the Bears game, fun. So like the game environments there. Obviously, Gibbs is the standout player of those 3. Javonte has been excellent so far this year. So got to feel good about all 3 of those. I'm also feeling good about Malik Neighbors pretty much anytime. Probably will grab McDuffie this week, which might make it a little tougher than pretty much like no defense last week, but Neighbors is still going to get fed and do well. Puka, another guy that's just going to get a ton of passes and do well. So those guys are just locks and steady every week. Garrett Wilson gets Tyrod Taylor throwing him the ball against the Bucks. I think could have started Tyreek. And just looking to see how many points Tyreek had. No, 74. So that's probably a decent bet. We'll take Garrett Wilson against the Bucks, or see if he can get over 74 points. Bucks past he has been good so far, but they have played Atlanta and Houston, but big number 1 receivers who haven't done much. So we'll see. Kelsey against the Giants. So here's another. You get Mahomes thrown to Kelsey. How much can Kelsey offset for Mahomes? It could be maybe not a huge key to this matchup, but definitely something to watch. So I think 2 really strong teams here. Very interested to see how this matchup goes down. So another really close one. We have Ryan by 8 points here over Tank. So this is basically a toss-up that can go either way. We'll lean Ryan just based on those. I think the wide receivers are equally strong to Tank's, if not better. The running backs, those 2 guys are just great. So I think Tank can swing it at quarterback and at tight end too. So I think that's all we got for the week 3 preview, and interested to see how the games go tomorrow, and hope nobody's players die. So, talk to you guys later.